Hey, and welcome back to Is Stephen Curry a Playoff Choker? This is part 3, I think, of this series. And honestly, you guys already know the rules. We're basically going into every single playoff series, Western Conference Finals, and finals of every single year he's played in the playoffs. And we're basically going to see whether or not he choked. We're going to be looking at how much pressure was on him to perform, injuries, stats, moments, and let's just get right into it. So, right off the bat, Warriors beat the Spurs 4-0 in the Western Conference Finals. Now, this was a huge, and in my opinion, a huge ordeal. And honestly, if you guys haven't watched the series, which happened 3 years ago, basically the Spurs had Kawhi Leonard and Tony Parker. Tony Parker was out for the series, and then Kawhi Leonard, after having a monster Game 1 performance, midway through the third quarter, I think, Zaza Pachulia cut under him on a jump shot, and Kawhi Leonard ended up spraining or tearing something in his ankle, and as a result, he was out for the entire series. Now, let's move on to Stephen Curry, of course, the most important player, the main topic of this series. He was being guarded by Patty Mills. That's okay. Last episode, we were talking about how he was being guarded by, instead of Patrick Beverley, he was guarded by Jason Terry in the Western Conference Finals. So Stephen Curry, instead of being guarded by Tony Parker, and in my opinion, not an elite defender at this point in time, but still a pretty damn good defender. So instead of being guarded by Tony Parker, he's guarded by Patty Mills, I'm pretty sure he's smaller than Steph Curry. And once again, if you put a smaller defender on Stephen Curry, usually he's going up against bigger guys, elite defenders. If Stephen Curry is being guarded by Patty Mills, it's over. He's dropping an insane amount of points every night. Now, Stephen Curry, for the series, he dropped 32 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals per game, no blocks. He did this all in 34 minutes per game. He shot 56% from the field, 47% from three-point land, and 90% from the free throw line. I'm rounding up and down on all these, by the way. But in my opinion, he had a whole lot of help this series from Kevin Durant, who dropped 60% from the field, 41% from 3, 87% from the free throw line, 36 minutes per game, 28 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. That's pretty insane if you ask me. And, Draymond Green, defensive playmaker. Klay Thompson had a really tough series. He dropped 37% from the three-point land, 33% from field goal. Yeah, Klay Thompson had a really tough time in this series. He basically had 11 points per game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. In my opinion, that's pretty tough. Like, guys, if you're Klay Thompson and you're shooting 33% from the field on 37% from the arc and 71% from free throw land, boy, you having a tough time. And if Kevin Durant wasn't in this series, I'm pretty sure the Warriors would have been beaten by what was left of the Spurs at this point. Now, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant both increased their efficiencies from the regular season massively. Stephen Curry basically increased his stats in every single category except assists, but in addition, he also had more minutes, and he also had more minutes to gather all these stats. But in my opinion, this was basically a free series for Steph Curry. With no Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant by your side in these playoffs, you basically had a free run right through the Spurs. There isn't much to talk about, really. When you look at the opposition, LaMarcus Aldridge, 41% from the field. Jonathan Simmons, 41% from the field. Monty Ginobili was the only one that showed up with 59% from the field, 36% from the three-point land. Danny Green, 36% from the field, 32% from 3. Kawhi Leonard, obviously, he dropped 54% from the field, 25% from 3, but at the same time, we all have tough games. And in Game 1, with only 24 minutes of play, he dropped 26 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. That's crazy. And honestly, do I think that the Warriors would have lost to the Spurs? No. I think it would have eventually come down to a Game 7 that the Warriors take home on their home court, because I think that the Warriors beat the Spurs Game 2, they steal a game, Game 3 or 4, they win Game 5, Spurs come back and win Game 6, and then Game 7. But, I could definitely be wrong either way. Honestly, we'll never know, but I'm giving Steph Curry little to no credit for winning this series. I mean, granted, Klay Thompson didn't show up, Andre Iguodala didn't hit a single three the entire series, shot 33% from the free throw line, but still, Kawhi Leonard, Tony Parker, excellent defenders are out, and basically Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant were given free reign the entire series. But yeah, I mean, he performed. So I'm going to give him an A. But it's like Kevin Durant's first ring. I'm not going to give him that much credit for that ring. All right, come on. He joined a 73 win team to get that ring. Stephen Curry, like, you performed and you got the accomplishment, but at the same time, it was against a very injured team, and I'm not going to give you that much credit for it. But yeah, it is what it is. He played well. Now, the Warriors versus the Cavs, they beat them 4-1, and there was no injuries this entire series, but you can tell there was an obvious, and I mean obvious, difference in talent. Now, LeBron, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, they were the big three, but on the other end, you had a super team, or the Hampton Five. Yeah, everyone for the Warriors showed up this series, and I mean everyone. Andre Iguodala dropping 9 points per game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and providing great defense on LeBron James. Draymond Green, 11 points, 10 rebounds. Klay Thompson, 16 points, but he did shoot 43% from the three-point line. Stephen Curry, he actually had a relatively bad series, 44% field goal percentage, 39% from the three, 90% free throw, and he did this on 38 minutes, 27 points per game, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 2.2 steals. I mean, those shooting efficiencies are relatively poor. I mean, you're being guarded by Kyrie Irving, who was a good defender, but he ain't all that, all right? He's a good defender, but when you're doing as much as he is on the offensive end, I know he had LeBron to help him, but when you and LeBron are literally carrying the offense for 48 minutes each, I mean, you're going to get tired, and having to run past screens and guard Stephen Curry, that's relatively tough. Kevin Durant basically carried the entire series, 56% from the field, 47% from three, 93% free throw. He had 40 minutes per game. He dropped 35 points per game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. In my opinion, if Kevin Durant's not on this team, Warriors don't win. I mean, come on. Like, let's look at it this way. I know that obviously with Kevin Durant not being gone, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, they would have all stepped up. But when you look at their opposition and what they were dealing with, let me tell you, the fifth best player on the Cavs was J.R. Smith, okay? And he shot 33% from free throw land. That's abysmal. Now, he shot 50% from three and 54% from the field. That's relatively good, but then at the same time, you have Kevin Love, who's supposed to show up in these moments, and instead of showing up, this is what he did. He shot 39% from the field, 39% from three. I mean, come on, he only played 32 minutes a game, 16 points, 11 rebounds, 2.2 steals, 1 assist. It's not enough in my opinion, and when it comes to whether or not the Warriors beat the Cavs or the Cavs lost this series for themselves, I'm going to have to say the Warriors beat the Cavs because Kevin Durant dropped 35 points per game. In my opinion, people that argue that Stephen Curry deserved this Finals MVP, you are outright, and I'm not going to call you an idiot, but you're in your feelings for this one. Kevin Durant shot 12% better from the field, 9% better from three, 3% better from the free throw line, dropped 8.4 more points. I'm not even going to get into this really, but that's relatively tough to argue that Steph Curry deserved Finals MVP, but we're basically looking at whether or not he choked. And in my opinion, you look at his regular season stats where he's shooting 47% from the field, 41% from three. Yeah, I'm not going to say he didn't choke, but he didn't perform his best. Let's just say that. I mean, I know it's finals, and obviously there's more defense, more intensity, more pressure, but you have Kevin Durant to relieve some of that pressure. You have Klay Thompson, who shot 43% from the field and 43% from three. Honestly, I feel like this video was rather basic, really. I mean, obviously it was really easy to look at Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant absolutely whooped the Spurs completely. I mean, it was obvious to see that with them going up against an injured Kawhi Leonard and Tony Parker. And then the Warriors beat the Cavs 4-1, but that's because Kevin Durant played like a monster. And Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, they were a solid supporting cast, and that was enough. As well as the Warriors bench playing relatively well this series as well. LeBron James, he played excellent, 34 points per game, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Kyrie Irving, 47% from the field, 42% from three, 90% from the free throw land, and on 29 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Honestly, those are great stats, but all in all, there was just so much talent coming from the Warriors. You have Hampton's 5 against Cleveland's big 3. I just don't see how Cleveland's going to win that series. But overall, for the finals, Stephen Curry, I'm going to give him a C+. I'm not going to give him a B. I mean, his efficiencies from 3 and from field goal dropped enormously, and you have Kevin Durant on your team. Like, what are you doing? How are you not performing, man? I get it's the finals, but still, like, good players excel in the finals. Let's look at LeBron, okay? He increased his points per game from 26.4 to 33.6. He increased rebounds. He increased in his assist totals. He had more steals, more blocks, more everything. Stephen Curry underperformed, in my opinion. He didn't choke, but he definitely underperformed, and as a result, he's going to get a C plus for this. Overall, for this entire series, or I'm sorry, playoff run, I'm going to give him a solid B. He was reliable, and I forgot to mention this. Game 1 against the Spurs, he was relatively clutch. When they came back from like 22 points down, Stephen Curry was relatively clutch. I think he hit the dagger in Game 1, which led them to easily sweep the Spurs. But yeah, in my opinion, Warriors beat the Cavs 4-1, but that's just because of Kevin Durant and his absolute monster series and his determination to win the NBA Finals. Honestly, I know this video kind of felt just like me naming off stats, but really, when it comes to moments, Stephen Curry Game 3 choked. Game 1 against the Spurs, where there was no pressure, of course he succeeded. He had Kevin Durant on his team, no Tony Parker guarding him, no Kawhi Leonard guarding him. I'll give him this though. He is easily the engine behind the Warriors. When Kawhi Leonard shut down Stephen Curry for Game 1, Kevin Durant, he was dropping points, but the system was gone. The entire engine behind the Warriors system disappeared because Stephen Curry was getting absolutely clamped. But, Kawhi Leonard goes down, Stephen Curry is released, and he just sets the entire building on fire. Now, talking about moments, Game 3, he choked. I think he hit one huge three in Game 3 that really saved the Warriors. Overall, Game 1, Game 2, Game 4, he played relatively well, and I'm going to give him credit for that. But at the same time, when it comes to efficiency, he underperformed. He had more rebounds, more assists, but like I said, efficiency is really something that matters in basketball. You can drop 50 points per game, but if you're shooting 10% from the field, you probably shot like around 100 to 200 shots per game to get those 50 points. And not passing either. Sounds like I'm describing Kobe. I'm kidding. I love Kobe. Don't bully me. Yeah, so hope you guys all enjoyed this. Overall, I felt like this is going to be the easiest finals to grade because obviously, there's obviously a talent mismatch in both finals. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this. Overall, he gets a B, and I'll be back with the 2018 playoffs video relatively soon. Hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and goodbye.